Jason, is it true that we got a brand new intro?
2, 3, 4. I don't know if I can fight the Cobra Kai. Well, at least the youngest by my side. He's right by my side. The bullies won't leave me alone. I'm gonna bring the trophy home.
Man. Woo! Yeah, how about that? Nice work.
Thanks, buddy. Thank you.
Yeah.
I hope that video and audio worked. We're still a show in progress, but looking forward to a new a new era of the show. A new era of the show.
Yeah, we need a boost like that after both of us putting up just the worst scores in week 8. Jason, we're heading into week 9, and you know what that means.
Yeah. It's
National Small Wiener Day. So to all you dachshunds and dachshund aficionados in the audience, and to you, Jason, let me be the first, or, it's nighttime now, maybe the 5th or 6th person to wish you, Jason, happy Small Wiener Day.
And a happy Small Wiener Day to you, Aaron. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
Yeah. You want to just get going here, week 8? You want to look back?
We got to get going. We had a terrible week between you and I, so we got to get moving. I was thinking we have a sponsor later in the show. I was thinking the 89ers could have sponsored this show with the week 8 recap, week 9 preview. There's some of you who love the 89ers. And the new team of the OKC baseball club is the OKC Comets.
Yeah, how about that?
I'd like to know what the league thinks about that. But let's have you start to break down this game here. Josh scores 117 points and takes a loss.
By far his best week of the season. Unfortunately, Sir William also turns in his best week of the season. Second highest score of the week for Chad, 129. Baker on his bench remains the number 2 quarterback on the season. Chad doesn't need him, though. He's got Kirk Cousins' 53-pointer. Not only has Chad chosen the right quarterback 2 weeks in a row, there was no wrong answer this week. He had three guys all with just big boy scores. Rompers are really playing some great ball. Weiss has got to be flummoxed. Despite the record, he's got to feel pretty good about what he's got in Tyrone Tracy. Tua comes back, suddenly H-Hand's great again. I don't know, 6 weeks to go. That's 6 weeks. That's all we got left, 6 weeks. I don't think the playoffs are going to happen, but I would be surprised if Weiss could go 500 the rest of the way, at least win 2. I mean, he can't be this bad.
No, he's done great. He continues to have a solid roster, even though it seems like he's been given up for the future, trying to have all these draft picks.
Just selling pieces, but it's
a great squad. He sent me a big offer today with a bunch of players I haven't had a chance to look at. And Brock Purdy looked awesome. And not only did he ran for 50 yards, threw for 300 yards. I mean, didn't even have all of his weapons. He looks great, but man, congrats to Chad. His team looked awesome. So
we kind of gave up on him. I thought he was going to be one of the final 4 non-playoff teams, but boy, he's really coming on.
He might jump up and surprise somebody. Someone who thinks they're making the playoffs may not. We'll see. Let's keep going. Oh my gosh.
Yeah. We've said it before. It's tough to win when you put up the lowest score of the week. So I almost pulled it off. I really wanted it despite not deserving a win at all. It was so close too. If the Bears don't decide to give a goal line run to a guard who then costs Caleb Williams a fumble that was 2 points right there. I can if all day. If I hadn't benched Joe Burrow 10 minutes before kickoff, if Uncle Larry had a vagina, he'd be Aunt Larry. It doesn't matter. I didn't deserve to win, but it really started to feel like it. Like George Pickens, he catches that. Oh, here it is. He catches that touchdown, and the left foot just does not somehow touch. He double taps the right. What a Pickens play! What a Pickens play! I felt like, have you seen Pulp Fiction? I know there's a lot of movies you haven't seen.
I actually have seen that one time.
Okay. So Travolta and Sam Jackson, Jules and Vincent, they're in the apartment, and the guy just unloads his gun at point blank at him, and they're like, "How am I not dead?" They just think they should be dead right now, but instead the back is just full of bullet holes, and so they kill that guy. But if we're gonna follow this analogy all the way through, I don't get to be Samuel L. Jackson. I am John Travolta just getting murdered on the toilet by Bruce Willis in this analogy. But yeah, George Pickens, he comes through 50-yard bomb, puts the Vipers over the top. Congrats to Jay. Neither of us deserved a W. So
just a gross game, but man, I would love to have a Jay live reaction for multiple times. But the absolute dime that Russell Wilson threw,
it was perfect.
It was a perfect ball, which was exactly what, like 8 yards more than he needed to beat you. It was just, I think you texted me kill shot, and I thought you were going to pull it off after this moment. After this moment, I thought you were going to pull it off.
I felt like Lucky Charms, but no.
But another two teams besting 110, and somebody takes a loss. I'm only talking about this one. I'm going to turn the notifications off on my computer so you don't keep getting the little beep notifications. That's just an error, just an absolute error.
Yeah, rookie.
The Thunder game must be starting, I guess.
It's a rookie mistake. So Jeff beats Jeremy. The Rhinos carrying 5 quarterbacks right now. He rolls with Sam Darnold, who does enough to take out the dude. Raheem Mostert has his best game of the season. Derrick Henry and Drake London had their worst games since week 1. The Rhinos charge on. I liked his Cedric Tillman pickup this week. That was real savvy. We were asleep at the wheel on that one.
Yeah.
Jeremy had a real good, solid week. But in a week where almost everybody, you and I excluded, had good scores, this is not enough. And then he gets bad news on Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
Just what a bummer, especially for you. But yeah, what a bummer we never got to see Houston at like full power.
Yeah.
Like Tank Dell wasn't quite right when we had Diggs and
Nico,
and then Mixon gets hurt, and I don't know. It's kind of a shame, but back to Jeremy. The dude had the wide receivers that could have won the game, but they were on his bench. So it's tough when you try to replace a guy like Mike Evans. He might be, trying to figure things out for a little while here.
Yeah, I mean, the Rhinos have such good wide receivers. They didn't best 10 points, and he still gets a win. Just an awesome week. The Detroit Lions putting up 52 on Tennessee.
Nasty.
That touchdown return and all those points just was a big deal. So yeah, congrats to the Rhinos. Climbed to 500. This was another great game.
Oh, yeah.
Break down this one for us.
Yeah. Mahoney's trending up. The last 2 weeks, he's put up his best score of the season. So best score, and then he bested that. Big boy quarterback battle. Both guys, Herbert and Hurts. Not only their highest game of the season, I had to go back to last season to find a time when they'd scored this high. Week 11 for both of them last year. So almost a year since they'd put up numbers like this. So awesome job by those guys. Herbert was a Karate Kid and Hurts was a Viper when I looked those up.
Whoa.
And this week would have been a loss if Mahoney had stuck with Dak. If you compare Dak's score, would not have gotten the job done. So, he bought himself a win with that trade at least.
Nice.
Boy, the real story for Lahan, though, look at those running backs. Almost 50 points combined. That's some caliente fantasy running. Like, seems to be smoke and mirrors at wide receiver for Lahan. So good thing he can run, kind of like the real life Chargers here. Tough loss for Brandon. Squanders a 50 burger from Hurts.
Yeah.
Just a solid week with all the skill guys for Brandon. This is a week you'd feel good about, and he's got a loss for it. But I mean, can't be down on the team. They're getting the job done. Looks like Brian Thomas is banged up.
Yeah.
I'm hearing day to day and also 2 to 4 weeks. So I don't know how that plays out. Brandon is super thin at running back, but gosh, he's got just wide receiver for days.
Yeah.
If Jones or Montgomery miss some time, I don't know what to make of Calvin Ridley. Is this an anomaly? Is this the Hopkins trade? Is this a Mason Rudolph bump? I don't know where that came from.
I don't either, man. I looked down at Brandon's week, and if I didn't see Mahoney over there scoring his it seems like his record in the last number of years, uh, I'd feel sick if I were Brandon to score 115. Like you said, the only thing that's disappointed in really is that the Jets scoring 2 points against New
Yeah.
England. I
Yeah,
mean,
that's a shocker.
it was a great week all around. I mean, lowest point score from a skill player was almost 6 points from a tight end. I don't know. It
Yeah.
it's a hard to believe he lost kind of week. But let's move on to this game.
Oh yeah, here's whew.
Oh
So you and
man.
we both had drama heading into Monday night, but John let you off the hook early. With Najee was running well.
Yeah, he was.
I don't understand Russell Wilson, like what's happened here, because he was terrible last year. I'm confident in saying he was terrible, and he comes in. Wilson looks good. The whole offense just looks better.
Yeah.
Which I never would have thought this, but yeah, Najee Harris. That's a good trade for John. He's getting some use out of that. Vikings are the number one defense in our scoring system. What's really remarkable, the whole division is in the top five because the Packers are number 2, the Bears are number 3, and the Lions are number 5.
Wow.
So that's wild. I know our scoring system doesn't necessarily equate how tough a defense is, but that's crazy.
That is.
This game just go ahead.
No, that's really good content. That's going to be in the Yelp review. That was awesome. Yeah, keep going.
I just think this game flipped. Like I imagine there was a point where both you and John thought you had this thing wrapped up. I know John did because I got a text from him about being sad about fantasy football. But boy, yeah, here's the reason. Here's the picture. What we were all forgetting is that nobody can blow a lead like Kyle Shanahan, and nobody puts up garbage points like Dak Prescott. And they just started. I don't know. The defense loosened up, and then just here comes CeeDee Lamb making catch after catch after catch. You had to be sick. I don't know if you were watching.
I was watching live, and I had so counted up a win after the third quarter. I had already counted it up that the Cowboys were going to lose. I did the super contest spreadsheet, finished it. Sending it to the super contest thread. Super great. I mean, I essentially just told my girls that I was going to win. And then the 100 yards and 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter. It really reminded me of something that happened earlier that day, actually. It really felt like there was a moment. If there was anything that I felt like it felt like I was Tyreek Stevenson right here in the lower left-hand corner of this picture. And I had counted my chickens before they hatched. I mean, I'd figured, being 5-3 is way better than being 4-4. And I was looking at the standings and it put together the win. And, when it was a tough day because this happened. This right here happened. I just happened to fail miserably, and John, I snatched a defeat from the jaws of victory and moved to 4-4. I keep waiting for you to tell me when was the last time I experienced the joy of a win. Are you not ready to do that?
It's coming up in the preview for next week.
Okay, because it's been a long time. Been a long time. Looking forward to having you break down the game of the week. Again, no sponsor last week because I went. Oh, I've gone 0-3, now 0-4 the last 4 weeks. So there was no sponsor last week. And the game of the week was not much of a week. And I know that our new viewer at 5-3 scoring 140 points is definitely going to watch the show. So, hey, Pastor, good to see you on the show.
Yeah, highest scoring game of the week. Lamar remains the highest scoring quarterback on the season, meaning he's the highest scoring player on the season. Pharisees just making a statement here. And you look at True John's depth. Higgins is out. No problem. You want to plug in Puka, Olave, Debo, McLaurin? What am I looking at here? I see no holes in this Pharisees team, and that's for sure the first time I've ever said that.
Yeah, and TJ Watt for the Pittsburgh Steelers looks like he's going to score 10 points by himself every game.
Yeah, he's an Avenger on the field. He is remarkable.
And then Jake
It's
Bates, his kicker team scores 52 points. I mean, up and down the roster. You're exactly right. I know that Puka trade. Puka looked unstoppable on Thursday night.
Yeah, he looked like the number one option. They found Cup in the end zone to my chagrin. But Puka was the one they were just going for.
Yeah.
It's a hiccup here for the Sweat Sox, but they're still in great shape. Allen's flourishing. Shane's running game is just really terrific. I know extra disappointing for Shane to lose on National Small Wiener Day, but True John beat him by a comfortable distance.
Well, on that note, let's keep moving on. This was one of the 5 pictures on Bijan's actual Instagram. I just loved it. I loved this touchdown. I loved what he did. That guy looks amazing. Mixon keeps scoring touchdowns. Every time the Texans are in the red zone, when I'm watching red zone, CJ Stroud is just handing the ball off every single time to this guy. Yeah, it's infuriating. Pound. But let's look at the league standings. We have
this is crazy.
It is absolutely amazing to see that we've got 2 teams with 5 wins at the top of the Running with the Devil division. We've got the Cobras with a small lead in the Eruption division, and then the Hot for Teacher division with 3 teams at 5-3.
Look how many 5-3 teams there are.
Yeah, it's amazing.
That is
half the league. Half the league is 5-3.
Yeah. Yeah, and one of the 5-3s might not make the playoffs even. Everybody is just tightly packed.
Yeah, that's a possibility. I don't think so. I think that there's enough teams on the bottom side of that. But as you know, anything can happen. There's been a lot of injuries. Something like Cedric Tillman ends up being somebody that swings somebody's fortunes.
There's always somebody.
Yeah, that's right. There's always somebody. So point standings, we have a new leader on top.
Yes.
Pharisee scoring 138 points, vaults him to the very top. Holy smokes. Take a screenshot of this, Pastor John. Congratulations. After week 8, you are at the top of the mountain, top of the hill, apex mountain for you. Let's take a look at our best ball league. You can see the results of our best ball league. An amazing just 1-point win for the Hellhounds over the Pharisees. That was the closest game I can remember seeing within a point there. And then the team of the week, once again, was Mahoney. 2 weeks in a row. Essentially, look at that. I mean, every single one of his players in double figures, every skill player almost besting 20 points. Just an incredible week for Mahoney. Bringing him up to the top of the South Division, being that top seed from the South. The Smitty beat the Vapors this week. That was a pretty big win for him. The Vapors only had 1 loss in our best ball league, but you can see the standings of that best ball league right there. Our week 8 picks contest. Welcome again, Pastor John, to the show.
Yeah.
13-3, not missing a game after the Jets New England game, going down the line there. The only 3 games he missed, only 2 other teams picked the opposite side. The Rhinos picked the Rams, and Mahoney picked New England. Other than that, he beat, that was it. So that puts him closer than he ever has been, only 4 back. Ghosts on top at 83-40. Our new leader in the clubhouse after 8 weeks for our picks contest. Super contest this week. It was really awesome last week with lots of green. This week, covered up in red. Last night's Pittsburgh game got 3 wins across the board from me and you and Middendorf. It was John Middendorf's only win of the week. And one of the reasons we do this exercise is to realize it is so hard to go 3-2. It's so hard to beat 500 every week. And Copeland did this week, the only team with 3 wins. And so you can see.
Go back to that one real quick, can you?
Yeah.
I want to make sure everybody realizes Chris has shorted himself a point. Everybody else was getting Minnesota at -3. Chris decided to give himself Minnesota -4. He was hitting from the back tees.
I love that. That's great. Well, congrats to you for getting 3 points this week. It's missing on the sheet, but I'll change that before next week. You jumped above Lahan after below him, so you got your sights on Whiteside. Anything can happen. A 4-1 or a 5-0 week changes everything in the Super Contest. And now we're on to the Week 9 preview. Looking forward to seeing how you break down these matchups. I first wanted to be able to add a new slide We'll see if we do this in the future. In week 9, we've got byes for the
Stinkers.
Steelers and the Niners. We've got 2 games of the week. I picked out Lions at Packers and Bears at Cardinals. I felt like those were the 2 games that stood out most significantly to me, especially Caleb versus Marvin. And then I think Detroit going to the grass of Lambeau Field is a really interesting matchup. Both teams there, coming in at 12-3, and then 2 4-4 or 4-3 teams. And then, my goodness, do we have some stinkers? Look at that: Pats at Titans and Saints at Panthers.
So gross,
folks. Those are gross games. So I don't.
These are all the 3 o'clock. Oh no, never mind. Sorry.
Yeah, we're 2 noon and 2 and 3 o'clock, but definitely those 2 games of the week, the afternoon games are awesome. So
that's great.
Yeah, there you go. So let us know about this first matchup.
Yeah, Josh 1-7 versus Jay 5-3. 7 losses in a row for the Ghosts. 1 week shy of 2 winless months. Vipers have won 3 in a row. The last 2 opponents have scored in the 70s, so they're playing some great defense these days. Purdy's on a bye, so Weiss has got to hope Tua is just ready to lead the Ghosts just right out of the fire swamp. It's hard to imagine Tua outplaying Geno Smith versus the Rams, though. I think you can pass all over the Rams. I think Achane and Robinson do give Josh kind of an edge at running back. Running back 2 gets dicey for Jay. Well, running back 1 is dicey for Jay. I think both teams are going to need some luck. Somebody pull out a great wide receiver week. I'm skeptical. I like that he's throwing Waddle against Tua. Vipers make it 4 in a row.
Okay, I'll take the Ghosts. I just don't think that it can continue to happen. I think that Ghosts gets a victory, although there's a chance with as much trading as he's doing, he's traded away all of these players by the time we get to game time on Sunday. So, right. Although I'm picking the Ghosts, I think he has a core that's strong enough to be able to withstand the Vipers. I think the Vipers have got real lucky the last 2 weeks, and I don't think the Ghosts can continue the slide. I'm taking the Ghosts over the Vipers.
Okay. Oh, Jeff and Chad, 4-4 versus 3-5. Rhino's coming off a win. The record doesn't show it, but Jeff has been great. He's been above 100 points every week since week 1.
Wow.
Like, that's kind of the benchmark we talk about, and he's been there every week. It's not reflected in the record, which kind of makes me think he's due for some wins. Rompers, though, riding a 3-game win streak. So, sneaky great game here.
Yeah.
I considered it for game of the week, really. Derrick Henry's the number 1 running back. Hasn't had his bye yet, but he's got 40 points over second place Saquon. Couldn't believe it really till I dug into the matchups, but I like all 4 of Jeff's quarterbacks more than all 3 of Chad's. Kyron Williams versus Derrick Henry, though, that is like Godzilla versus King Kong. That is RB1 versus RB3, just heavyweights. 11 total touchdowns for Henry, 10 for Kyron coming in here. So, I mean, these dudes score. They score and they score. RB2 is kind of weak for both teams. I like Jeff to win at wide receiver, whether Metcalf is back or not. I think Rhinos make it 5 wins.
Yeah. I'm taking the Rhinos too. I think his team is too strong. And I know that I really like Jeff, and it's going to be hard for him to choose a quarterback. You said 5 on his roster. They're all pretty good.
Right.
And it'll be interesting to see what kind of system. I would love if Jeff would tell me like how much he thinks about how he's going to choose the quarterback. I would watch that. Netflix series. What about Mahomey versus the surging Pharisees?
Yeah. Mahoney coming off the win versus Brandon. The Pharisees have won 4 in a row, unblemished in October. True John's last 3 games have been in the 130s. Last 3.
Wow.
I like both guys to rock at quarterback. Lamar's got a new weapon, Deontay Johnson. I don't know how quickly they can get him worked in, but that just makes him even more deadly, I feel like.
Yeah.
Bateman and Flowers have been playing pretty well, plus the tight ends, but man, Deontay Johnson just gets open. it's weird that Carolina even ate the salary.
Yeah.
I can only think Deontay Johnson just must be the biggest pain in the ass. Like, he just must be an awful hang. Because what they did a pick swap that's going to be like 15 picks, and they're paying 3 million of the salary just to be like, go
That's
somewhere
amazing.
else.
That's new. I've not had a chance to be on the internet much today, so that's all. I knew that he was
Oh,
interested. I saw that, but I did not know
yeah.
that. I thought they would have had to give up significant,
No, it was like a fifth for a sixth. It was nothing.
wow.
I thought Dallas would have like a post bye week boom like last season, and they didn't. They just looked exactly as terrible as they looked before the bye. I'm afraid they're just too broken to fix this season. Joe Mixon and Bijan, you focused on them earlier. They're going to be more than James Cook and Josh Jacobs can handle, and those two guys have been playing great. But I expect Houston to lean even more heavily on Mixon while the wide receivers are hurt. True John will definitely have a wide receiver on his bench that outscores a Mahoney starter. Looks like an easy Pharisee win.
Yeah, for sure. Although this is as good as both of these teams have looked in 5 years.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They're
There's life.
they're really strong. They've got blue chip players. Just John has more. He can withstand a dud week because he's going to have a couple players score 25 points of his skill players. So man, he's just an awesome team, and it
Yeah.
sucks to be in this division. So another 5-3 versus 3-5 team.
Yeah. False John's won 2 in a row. Jeremy's lost 2 in a row. These two teams are just headed in opposite directions in the standings. I don't know what to make of Jordan Love. Like, he throws lots of touchdowns. He makes plays, but he also leads the league in interceptions. Seems like he's always getting hurt.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. Jaden Daniels giving the dude just everything you could want in a quarterback. He's going to do terrible things to the Giants. Jeremy's got Kyler in there. Kyler was huge last week too. I don't know. Saquon's the best running back in this game between these guys, but with the Steelers on bye, John just has nothing behind him at running back. So Jeremy, I like him to have the edge at the second running back spot. Don't love Zach Moss though. I, I don't know. John's got a real good edge at wide receiver. I think that the trends continue and John makes it 3 in a row.
I do too. I like False John as well. I feel like the dude abides with this lineup is trying to throw the show. I don't think that he's really starting Diggs or Evans or Moss or Murray. I'm not sure what he's doing with this lineup here. And so I didn't dig into this as much. Did Grant Calcaterra play for a team in Oklahoma?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I'm not good with that stuff.
Okay, it sounds like a name I've heard on an OU broadcast from Toby, but I don't know if he's an OU Sooner or not. But I just thought that was interesting.
That does have a familiar ring.
I like the Hellhounds going Barkley, Lamb, Smith, McConkey, Laporta. I think he's too strong. I think they'll overcome the dude abides even with Lawrence as his quarterback, who I don't really necessarily love. Yeah. Boy.
Oh, yeah.
I'm actually not looking forward to this, so go ahead.
Yeah. All right. Sweat Sox coming off a loss. They've been putting up good scores for a month. I originally even had this for game of the week until I noticed you were just winless in October.
Yeah.
Undefeated in September and just winless in October. I probably don't need to tell you this, so it's just for the listeners, but you didn't break 100 points in October. That is not game of the week material, my friend. Your roster construction is crazy. You have one starting quarterback, 3 total wide receivers, one of whom is on IR, and 10 running backs. It's Looney Tunes. I don't know what to make of your roster construction. Stroud's coming in. Now he doesn't have Diggs. They're on a short week. The Dolphins defense has been respectable, but I think Josh Allen's going to be okay against them. Walker's had some excellent games, and the Rams are a real delicious opponent. So I don't know if we're going to get that Walker that we had the first few weeks or if it's back to whatever this new version of that offense is. I don't know what you're going to do at the second spot.
I'm playing both tight ends.
Okay. Wow. Okay. That makes sense, actually. 'Cause I couldn't figure out what you were going to do there. No matter what, I prefer Shane's Cerberus three-headed wolf of a squad of DeAndre Swift and Jahmyr Gibbs and Kareem Hunt. But the matchup we all wanted to see and talk about, AJ Brown versus Justin Jefferson. That that's some Hollywood there. AJ Brown versus Jacksonville, that could get nasty. I don't love anybody's other wide receivers, but I think you make up some ground, and I think you get back in the win column.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. I've in 3 years on the show, I've never picked myself to lose. I'm picking the Russell Sweat Sox to beat the Karate Kid this week. Something's got to change. Maybe it's roster construction, but I mean, I'm terrified of CJ Stroud. The Jets are playing great against quarterback, and he hands the ball off most of the game. He's not the player that I thought he was, at least this season, without the wide receivers and the game plan that he's had.
He's getting a ton of pressure too. Like he is running for his life.
Yeah.
So I mean, most quarterbacks are bad. Just Patrick Mahomes is the only one that thrives that way.
Yeah. I relied heavily on Jordan Mason, and I think after the bye week, Jordan Mason's both hurt. Now it's going to be a three-headed monster with CMC coming back, and Isaac Guerendo played good enough on Sunday night that he might be the backup. So it's just the Karate Kid's a mess. Haven't won a game since September 27th. It's been a horrible month to be in the Smith house. I mean, just the dauber's down. There's a rain cloud over the house. Nobody wants to be related to me or my friend. So I'm picking the Sox. I think I go 4-5. Josh Allen versus Miami at home is a lot better than Houston on the road on Thursday night without Diggs and without Nico. So
I had a question for you earlier, and it was kind of mean, so I skipped it. But is the era? What's the running back's name?
Jordan Mason.
Is the Jordan Mason era over?
I think
was the question.
I think so. If I were the Niners, I would stick with Isaac Guerendo, who's on the broadcast.
Speedy.
Yeah, runs like a 4.2 40 and doesn't get hurt every first quarter of every game. So I would probably stick with Isaac the rest of the season as my backup. Mason
unless McCaffrey comes back.
Right. No, as your backup. I mean, I don't know.
Okay.
I think Mason just loses his spot.
So
was a good September for Mason. Finished like running back 3 in the month of September, but I think he's lost his backup role. I think McCaffrey's going to be back week 10. So not a great month. Looking forward to November. Hopefully some better luck. And in honor of my 0-for-4 in the month of October, our game of the week sponsor, we have actually been paid by our sponsors every show for the last 2 seasons. And this is the first time we've paid for a sponsor. I put up some money looking to change some things up. So the game of the week is sponsored by Aaron. Tell us about who this young lady is right here.
This is Red Panda. This is if you're at a sporting event and you're lucky enough to hear tonight at halftime Red Panda, boy, you are in for a treat. She kicks the cups up into her head while she rides a tall unicycle. Although I don't know, were you watching? She was doing halftime at the Thunder game the other night, the second game.
Oh,
on the road, and she took about 6 tries to get the final bowls up. And it started getting a little awkward, and so I kind of had to bump her down in my rankings. Quick Change, I think, will always be number 1.
Yeah.
Quick Change number 1, and then I think maybe the guy that has all the village people on the wires.
That guy's awesome.
Yeah, and then Red Panda. I'm right there somewhere, but I got to go Quick Change number 1.
Oh yeah, Quick Change will always be the best. I think Latte Dogs is one of my all-time favorites. I think that guy.
I love those dogs.
Those dogs are the best. And I just love dogs. So like dogs that can do tricks, that's just awesome. But Red Panda, she's a delight. I don't ever want to take her for granted. And I think it was important for me to go ahead and pony up and pay for a little bit of sponsorship so we can be sponsored by her rather than raking in all the cash that we've been receiving due to the show being sponsored so well. And our game of the week was
Oh
two
yeah.
5-3 teams.
Yeah, here we go. 5-3, 5-3. Brandon coming off 2 consecutive losses. He had a nice score last week. Cobra's coming off a loss. Did not have a very nice score. Uh, Game of the week, Caden and gentlemen. Brandon's got Jalen Hurts against the Jaguars. I've mentioned that already. I do not like that. Is a cha-cha-cha ooh la la matchup. Oh, that's nasty. Burrow's got the Raiders. So we're Caleb is not going to be starting. Of my 3 losses, Caleb started for 2 of them.
Oh,
So yeah, you sit back down, kid. I don't know. Quarterback's going to be an advantage for Brandon. I think the Cobras have a terrific running back room, but do not love Aaron Jones versus Indy. I don't want to go against that. That seems terrifying to me. And he's coming off extra rest from being in the Thursday game. Um, David Montgomery is a handful. At least the Packers are a tougher opponent, but I think I'm going to throw J.K. Dobbins and John Taylor at him.
okay.
I guess that's fun because Jonathan Taylor and Aaron Jones are going to be literally playing head to head.
I love
I
that.
prefer not to be the one going against the Vikings. Every position, I like Brandon a little bit better. So Whiteside for the win.
Okay, I'm taking the Cobras. I had in my notes that Joe Burrow is a
Contrary.
different quarterback when T. Higgins plays. I feel like he scores. Maybe you can do this for if you win next week, you'd be wanting to do it. When T. Higgins plays, I feel like he's worth 10 more points for Joe Burrow. So I'm taking the Cobras just because I like your team and I love Amon-Ra St. Brown. Brandon, I think loses his 3rd game in a row, and I think that it's a 5-3. I think it's the worst outcome for me, a loss for me, and a win for you. And I hope you guys have enjoyed the show because it's really hard to want to produce the show and to do the work if you lost 5 in a row. So we'll
I've
just
been
see what
there.
happens in the future. You may have to have Caden come in and start working as an intern to take over if this
Right.
if this continues this way. So. Thanks for all the work you do to prepare for the show. Thanks, guys, for watching and for commenting,
Yeah.
whether by text or on the message board. It means a lot. It's a lot of fun to do this show, even though I haven't had a win since September 27th.
Good job, buddy.
See ya. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah.